The beam of Jake's flashlight jerked wildly as he stumbled backward, his boots scraping against stone that shouldn't have been there. No, that's not possible, he muttered, breath already tightening. Just seconds ago, the entrance had been right behind them, a narrow opening carved into the side of the buried pyramid, sunlight spilling in like a lifeline. Now, there was nothing, just a seamless wall of ancient stone, cold and unbroken, as if it had never existed. Phil let out a short, nervous laugh that echoed too loudly in the confined corridor. Okay, funny. Which one you did that? Lana didn't answer. She stepped forward slowly, her fingers brushing the surface where the exit should have been. Her expression shifted from confusion to something far worse. This isn't a trick, she whispered. There's no seam. No crack. It's solid. Jake swallowed hard, forcing himself to stay composed. That's not possible. We've been inside for what? 5 minutes? Maybe less. Yeah, Phil said, his voice thinner now. 5 minutes, and we're already trapped. The silence that followed felt heavier than the stone around them. Jake turned back toward the narrow passage ahead, gripping his flashlight tighter. We don't panic. There has to be another way out. Structures like this always have multiple passages. Unless it doesn't want us to leave, Lana said quietly. Phil scoffed, but it came out strained. Great. We're doing that now. Haunted pyramid theories. Lana didn't respond. She was staring at the walls, at the strange symbols etched into the stone. They didn't look like any hieroglyphs Jake had ever seen in books or documentaries. They were wrong. Too jagged, too fluid at the same time. Jake, she said, her voice tightening. These aren't decorations. Then what are they? He asked. She hesitated. They look like sequences. Sequences of what? Of people. Phil groaned. Okay, no, I'm not doing this. We came here for treasure, not whatever this is. Jake stepped forward, motioning them to follow. We keep moving. Standing here won't help. They moved deeper into the corridor, their footsteps echoing against the tight walls. At first, it was just the three of them, their breathing, their gear shifting, the soft crunch of sand beneath their boots. Then Jake stopped. Wait, he said sharply. Phil nearly walked into him. What now? Jake held up a hand, listening. There's something off. Lana frowned. Off how? Jake didn't answer immediately. He took a few careful steps forward. Step, step, step. 4 echoes answered. Phil blinked. Did you hear that? Jake nodded slowly. There were 4. That's not funny, Phil said quickly. Don't mess with me like that. I'm not, Jake replied. They all stood still. Silence. Then Lana took a step. Tall, 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 tall. 4 again. Phil's breathing quickened. No. There's an echo, that's all. Weird acoustics. Old structures do that. Not like this, Lana said. It's not repeating. It's responding. Jake turned slowly, shining his flashlight behind them. Nothing. Just a narrow corridor stretching back into darkness. Let's just keep moving, he said, though his voice had lost some of its certainty. They continued, faster now, their movements tense and uneven. The air felt heavier the deeper they went, like the pyramid was pressing in on them from all sides. After what felt like 10 minutes, the passage opened into a wider chamber. Phil let out a breath. Finally, space. But something about the room felt wrong. Jake stepped inside first, sweeping his light across the walls. Symbols, everywhere, but these were different. They weren't random. They told a story. Lana moved beside him, her eyes scanning rapidly. These are figures. People, Jake asked. She nodded slowly. 3 of them. Phil let out a shaky laugh. Well, that's comforting. Jake's light moved across the carvings. 3 figures standing together. Then, the same 3 figures duplicated. 6 now, facing each other. Okay, Jake murmured. That's weird. Lana's voice dropped. Look closer. He did. The second set of figures wasn't identical. They were slightly off. Limbs too long. Heads tilted at unnatural angles. They're copies, Lana said. Phil shook his head. No, that's just artistic style, or whatever. Jake didn't respond. His light had moved to the final part of the carving. 3 figures entering. 3 figures leaving, and 3 staying behind. Phil's voice cracked. Why are there 9? No one answered. A sudden metallic clatter echoed behind them. They all spun around. Jake's stomach dropped. Their backpacks, left near the entrance of the chamber, had been moved. Not far, just enough. Which one of you did that? He demanded. I was right here. Phil snapped. So was I, Lana added. Jake's pulse began to pound in his ears. Then who? Jake, Lana interrupted, her voice trembling. Look, he followed her gaze. One of the backpacks wasn't just moved. It was opened, slowly, deliberately, as if someone had gone through it. Phil took a step back. We're not alone. No, Lana Guisperth. We are. Jake frowned. What does that mean? It means she swallowed. Whatever's here isn't separate from us. Phil shook his head rapidly. No, I don't like that explanation. I really don't like that explanation. Jake forced himself to stay focused. We need to document this. If something's happening, we record it. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small handheld camera. Good, Phil said quickly. Yeah, evidence. Proof. Something normal. Jake powered it on and began recording. Entry log, he said, his voice steady despite the tension. We've encountered structural anomalies within the pyramid. The entrance has. The camera flickered. The screen glitched. Jake frowned. What the? The image stabilized. But what it showed made his blood run cold. It wasn't the chamber. It wasn't the present. It was them, standing in the same room, doing the same thing. Jake slowly lowered the camera, then raised it again. Same image, same movements, but delayed, like it was replaying something that had already happened. Is that us? Phil whispered. Lana stepped closer, her face pale. No. Jake's voice dropped. Then who is it? The figures on the screen continued moving. Jake watched himself speak. Watched Phil shift nervously. Watched Lana turn and freeze. Why did I stop? Lana whispered. On the screen, her recorded self wasn't moving, just standing there, staring directly at the camera, at them. Jake's grip tightened on the device. Okay, he said, his voice barely steady. That's enough. We're leaving this room. Phil nodded quickly. Yes, good idea. Great idea. They turned toward the passage they came from and stopped. It wasn't there anymore, just another wall of solid stone. Phil let out a strangled laugh. You gotta be kidding me. Lana's voice was almost inaudible. It's changing. Jake's chest tightened. What is? The pyramid, she said. It's reacting to us. Reacting how? Phil demanded. Lana hesitated. Then she said the words that made everything worse. I think it's learning. Jake felt a chill crawl down his spine. Learning what? Lana looked at both of them. Us. Jake's pulse thudded in his ears as he backed away from the wall. Flashlight trembled in his hand. The stone surface was cold, unyielding, as if it had been waiting for them. He glanced at Lana, whose eyes were wide, darting between the strange carvings and the corridor ahead. Phil was muttering under his breath, pacing like a caged animal. We need to move, Jake said, trying to keep his voice steady. We can't just stand here. Phil froze mid-step. Move where? Every path looks the same. It's like this place is shifting. Lana stepped forward cautiously, running her fingers over the carvings. It is. Look at this. Every time we turn around, the walls seem slightly different. The markings change, or at least our perception of them does. It's learning us. Jake swallowed. Learning what? How to scare us. How to trap us. Because right now it's doing a damn good job. Phil laughed nervously, a shaky sound. Scaring us? I think it's trying to drive us crazy. There's no other explanation. Suddenly, a low rumble vibrated through the floor, making them all stumble slightly. Dust rained down from the ceiling, coating their shoulders. Jake's flashlight flickered, as if responding to the disturbance. Shadows twisted unnaturally along the walls, and for a moment, it seemed like shapes were moving independently. Did you see that? Lana whispered, her voice tight. Something just moved. I didn't see anything, Phil said, though his tone betrayed him. Jake shone the light around the room, slowly. His stomach nodded. There's someone else in here. Or something. I don't know what. A faint scraping sound echoed from the far corner. Their breaths hitched. Jake raised the flashlight toward the noise. Nothing. Just shadows stretching unnaturally in the flickering light. But then a figure stepped forward, or rather, a copy of someone stepped forward. Jake froze. It was him. The copy mimicked his posture, down to the grip on his flashlight. His own heart skipped a beat. No, that's not possible. Phil stumbled backward. That's me. That's me. I saw myself standing there. Lana's hands went to her mouth. It's copying us. It's making copies. That's why no one ever escaped. They're never fully themselves when they leave. The pyramid, it replaces you. The three of them looked at each other, terror twisting their features. Phil shook his head violently. I'm out. I'm not staying here. I don't care what this thing does. If it wants to copy me, let it. I'm getting the hell out. Jake grabbed his arm. We go together. Alone, one of us is done for. Lana's voice was trembling, but resolute. Jake's right. We have to stick together. If we split up, the pyramid wins. Phil didn't answer. He was staring at the copy of himself, frozen, unmoving, eyes blank, and unervingly focused on them. Then the copy tilted its head, mirroring Phil's terrified expression. And when it spoke, it wasn't Phil's voice, at least not entirely. It was slow or warped. You can't leave. You're already part of it. Phil screamed, stumbling backward, banging into a wall. What the hell are you talking about? That's me. That's not me. Jake tried to calm him, but his own hands were shaking. Listen, we figure this out. We find a pattern. There has to be a way to escape. Lana's eyes darted over the carvings once more. The pyramid feeds on us, on our attention, our reactions. The more we focus on it, the more it learns. If we want out, we need to stop panicking, stop reacting to it. Phil laughed shakily. Stop reacting? Easy for you to say. There's me, standing right there. And it's not me, and it's staring. Suddenly, a passage opened to their left, one that hadn't existed a moment ago. Dust swirled into the air as a faint wind seemed to beckon them forward. The three exchanged tense glances. Jake nodded. That's our way. Come on. They moved cautiously, keeping the flashlight beams tight. Every step felt heavier than the last. The walls seemed closer now, the ceiling lower, as if the pyramid itself was constricting around them. Each shadow seemed to flicker independently, moving just out of sync with their own steps. A low whisper echoed through the passage. It sounded like Phil, then Jake, then Lana, each voice repeating fears they hadn't even said aloud. Their hearts raced. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, until it was impossible to tell what was real. Don't listen, Jake shouted. Keep moving. But as they reached a wider chamber, relief turned into horror. At the center, a pool of still water reflected their images, or rather, it reflected the copies. Perfect duplicates, standing there, silently watching. Their reflections moved slightly out of sync with their real bodies. Phil stumbled. No, it's mocking us. It's... Lana grabbed his arm, forcing him to focus. Run. Now. Ignore it. They sprinted toward a staircase at the far end, the first sign of daylight peeking through cracks above. The air felt lighter, almost breathable, but their shadows stretched unnaturally behind them, flickering and splitting into multiples. They reached the top. A faint glow of the desert sun greeted them. Phil lunged toward it, nearly tripping, gasping as if tasting freedom for the first time. Jake followed, keeping an eye on Lana. She paused briefly, looking back at the entrance. Shadows danced there, dark figures standing still in the doorway. Phil burst into the open, relief flooding him. We made it. We made out. Jake and Lana emerged seconds later, collapsing onto the sand, hearts hammering, lungs burning. Weeks later, when they told the story, reporters asked about the third explorer. Jake's gaze went distant, haunted. There was never a third, he said quietly, almost to himself. And somewhere behind them, the pyramid waited, silent and patient. Inside, the stone walls shifted ever so slightly, as if smiling, already preparing for the next visitors.